Back at my Aunt Essine's house, I began to reflect more on what was able to happen in those sacred spaces and how food could unify us, even across generations and bloodlines and life experiences. She had a small but lovingly maintained garden. It was her great joy, and she grew almost everything there. I became infatuated with her mango tree, just walking over and plucking a sweet, succulent fruit from the branches, tucking into it like an apple. I delighted in the decadence of it, the innocence of it. Back home, the fruit that I encountered was presented to me, primed, plumped, and preserved. I had to tear through packaging before I could even get to touch it, and then it had to be pumped full of the preservatives needed to keep it looking exotic enough to pass muster. Here, it was different. I could as easily pluck and eat a mango as I could drink water or moisturise my skin. It felt nourishing. One morning, I came down to find my aunt kneading the dough to make dumplings as she did most days. "Auntie," I asked her, "will you teach me to cook like you?" She nodded. "Of course," she said, pleased in her own quiet way. And so we started a precious tradition of cooking classes in her kitchen. I learnt how to tell when the avocado was perfectly ripe, how to saute callaloo with the best flavours, and how to knead flour and water to make golden dumplings rise. It became something more than that though. I learnt to heal. In my aunt's kitchen, no unwelcome ghoul could haunt me. No misintentioned friend could dim my light to make theirs shine brighter. As we laughed and moved about the kitchen, my simple questions, her precise answers, how much salt? How long in the oven? Does this look right? It became a shared experience. We both rose, and the higher I felt us lifting, the more I imagined others rising with us. As I blended blueberries, no cold-hearted person could use their force to bruise innocent skin that same colour. As I chopped ginger, nobody could be told that they were too fiery or above their station. In the green of the callaloo, I saw the expanse of a world opening up before me, places to be visited and things to be achieved, the changes we could cultivate in the world, magic to be made from our very own fingertips. Cooking showed me a whole new realm, glimmering with possibility. It was a freedom of sorts, the kind that I hadn't experienced before. But also, it was a sanctuary. In my aunt's kitchen, I was safe. I could do anything, try anything, be anything. Being in her space was my key to learning about myself, and just as importantly for me at that time, learning about my mother. It was a way in. And now, when I look at my family, I see the strength in them, the tower that they are building. My grandmother pretty much fed the entire elderly Caribbean community of Newport, South Wales, until she was in her late 80s, stopping only when a global pandemic forced her hand. Cooking is her means of creating. The kitchen is the place where she is in control. She selects the dishes, she chooses the ingredients, she makes enough so that nobody goes without. She receives the gratitude from the satisfied mouths. It's her domain. It is a space of infinite possibility. We can all do more to actively embrace the transformation that can happen in these spaces, the shifting of perspectives from what we typically associate with a very gendered and powerless space. Of course, history tells a tale of women who have been confined to the kitchen, and it is a beautiful thing to see them making a courageous escape for freedom from the shackles and drudgery of spatulas instead of schooling and rotisserie instead of reaching for horizons new. But this really only paints the tiniest fraction of the picture. It also means that for as long as we place shame on domestic spaces and categorise them as imprisoning certain groups somewhere that they don't want to be, we are also denying the opportunities for discovery that surround them. What if we embraced those shimmering possibilities, removed the boundaries, and just let the flavours ring out.